they glow green. There's 3 of them, and they're in this exact pattern. I don't know if you can see it, but it's
Yeah,
like
no, I
one,
got
two,
it.
three.
Fuck, man. Yeah, you're
But I had
yes.
not had my firearm there in the OBE. I didn't have my firearm there
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
a week later.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the future I was seeing,
Yeah,
Darius.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. You're tapping into
How you doing?
I'm doing
Can you
good,
hear me?
Ian.
Okay?
Yeah, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm excited to hear your second experience. So,
Well,
yeah.
it's I don't know how many you want to hear. I've had more than more than one more. It's been, I think I've had, I guess, four more since we spoke last.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and
because the first one, if I remember off memory, you were accessing time, thoughts, time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's happened some more. That's happened some more. So um, anyway, I've written some stuff down. We could, I guess, just go chronologically. Would that work for you?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
just go right into it. Yeah, because
okay, okay,
like I said, pe the people already know from your first testimonial to this one as well, sharing your experience working with the method. So
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I've,
just go
I've
right
written
into
some
it.
things down. So I hope that doesn't look too bad that I'm going through this, but I'm writing down what I experience.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Uh,
Yeah.
and and there might be something that we could talk about too, which is what led up to me finding you.
Okay.
That's an interesting story also. But anyway, we'll go into. So I had OBQ. Okay. Um, so I had uh, this. It's interesting. I've also continued to have those OBE encounters where it's not the actual OBE state, but it's you're like almost there, and you kind of psych yourself out. And what's interesting to me is that I had one of those with this shaking, like your hands shaking like this. That's the
Okay.
impression that you get.
Yeah.
And I think it was Olga's testimony talked about that exact same thing, that shaking. And it happened to me before
Yeah. Yeah.
I had seen her testimony. And I'm like, wow, this is she's going through the same stuff,
Mhm.
There's been other stuff that where people have said something that happened when I was either had already come out of the body or was getting ready to come out of the body. I've had the gunshots.
Yep.
I've had like a ringing, like a really profound ringing, and it's like it's not really audio. It's not through your ears. This is somehow it's beyond audio. That's the only way I can characterize it. Um,
Mhm.
and so there's been a couple of things. And anyway, there's one time when I had that shaking, and I was actually on my side, and I wasn't actually intending to come out. I was like, we're not going to, I'm not going to be doing an OBE.
Mhm.
But I got into a sleep paralysis, and I was on my side, and I was doing the shaking, and I was like, okay, I guess I am coming out. I don't know. But then it stopped. It was almost like somehow, soul just wasn't going to have me going out of the body while I was sleeping on my side.
Mhm.
I don't know what the story is on that, but if there's any experiences that are negative on your side, I don't know what to make of that really. But I was ready. I wasn't really afraid. It was definitely the sleep paralysis. Like it was more paralysis than I usually have when I go into the out of body state. It was
So
like
that sleep paralysis, did you end up coming out of the body in that one? Or you were
no, I'm just talking about
yeah.
this shaking is
Yeah,
relative to the shaking. So
yeah,
I was prepared to. I was like,
yeah.
okay, I guess I'm going to be coming out, and then
Mm,
I didn't end up coming out.
yep.
So that was interesting to me. Then I had another one of these encounter things where I like sprung up, from the waist up. I sprung up out of my body, and I said to myself, "Yeah, this is too real. This isn't it." And I stopped the out of body experience right there. It's because it was too real,
Yeah,
and I rejected it.
that's
You
funny
know,
because it reminds me of way years ago or like doing this, like coming out of my body, and I'm like, no, this is too real. Like what, like this isn't real because
exactly.
it's too real. It's
This isn't real because it's too real.
yeah,
Exactly. So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so all those things were going on leading up to this next OBE.
Hmm.
So I've labeled that here, OBE number 3. And I dated it too. Wow. Okay. So that was quite a ways after the other. So this is interesting. I had an awareness that I would reach the OBE state.
Hmm.
Like I just knew it. Have you ever had that? Like it's gonna happen tonight.
Yeah, yeah. When I have those feelings, then I like it's typically in the morning. Like I'm like, all right, and then I just whole day prepare myself. And if it's at the nighttime, I'll just as soon as I feel it, I'm in the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, really? So you act on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I knew I was gonna have a night that I could get, I could access, but I just knew it. I just knew it. I had kind of some weird hours the night before, but I just knew this is gonna work. This is gonna happen tonight.
Mm.
And so I used the 12 breaths. So I've changed now from the 4 breaths. That was working at first, but it didn't work for a while. So I just changed to the 12 breaths,
Yeah.
and and that's working for me on an
All
ongoing
right.
basis.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
The
Yeah,
12
and
breaths. Yeah.
change it based off you feel. Increase it. Yeah.
And then I just do 11, number 11, I fold this thumb, and then number 12, and that way I don't I'm not
Lose it.
worried
Yeah.
about what's the count,
Yeah.
so I know that I've done this and I've done this and it's over. And I'm telling you, I'm in the body shutdown state, and I've had something else happen, which is like, it's really weird. It's like there's an insect that is flying around the back of my head.
Hmm.
And as soon as I deal with it, I put my arm back there or something, I wake up.
Yep.
And it's weird because whenever that happens, it's almost like I was in a state where there was really low breathing, like not happening. It was like a very
Almost feels like you're not breathing. Yeah.
yeah, like I could have really shut down. Anyway, that's another kind of a
Yeah. Well,
little bit.
that's important because that's typically where the fear will kick in at that point. In that process when you're shutting down, because
Okay.
there's yeah, I'll tell you, privately off this, but yeah, it's just
Okay. Okay.
don't dip into the fear aspect there, because typically you're just right at that point. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Okay. There's another thing that's interesting. I have consumed coffee, and in this one, I had within a 24-hour period, I consumed 3 cups. So I did not go abstinence on coffee,
Mm.
but I had spaced it out. So it was like there was coffee at like a 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning type thing. There was coffee at maybe 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then there was coffee at maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yep.
something like that. And so yes, there were 3 cups of coffee throughout the course of that, but it did not prevent the OBE from happening. But anyway, all right. So I'm in the OBE, and first awareness was I stood up. I stood up beside the bed. I'm in my bedroom, and I just kind of I knew I was in OBE, but I just sort of put my hand on it's a poster bed, so there's high bed posts on my bed. I just kind of steadied myself, and I just said, okay, I'm just going to take it easy.
Mm.
Just gonna just relax and just kind of go easy. I really am happy with myself for doing that, because it just sort of it was like it calmed me, just relax. You're out of body now,
Yeah.
and you don't have to go fast. You don't have to do anything particularly. So I just kind of steadied myself. And then I saw, and I don't want to take, I know this is timed and I
No,
don't
no,
want to like,
yeah. Ian,
this OBE did not get the
explain it
personal
all.
contact.
Yeah, explain
Okay.
it all.
Okay.
Yeah, you're okay.
This
Yeah.
OBE did not get the personal contact, but it did something which is really amazing, which I'd love to talk about if we've got the time. So anyway, so I'm kind of like, I'm upright now. I'm upright. I'm in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And I saw this green light high. And after I woke up, well, I think I knew what that was actually while I was in the OBE. After I woke up, I saw it because it's my smoke alarm in my room. Okay. So it just glows faintly green. Now, what's interesting though, is I've never noticed that before, but I was in the OBE and that's glowing faintly green. It actually is a little bit more bright somehow in the OBE. Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but in your OBEs, but there's something different about the lighting.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, you have
all
access to more color. Yeah.
all sources of light, it's so weird, man. I mean, the moment you're out of body, you're like the light is, it's like it has no source, but it's really, there's something about it. There's
Yeah.
some kind of energy. I don't know what it is. It's just like, oh, the light,
Well, yeah, you're tapping into once you're in the out of body state, you're tapping into the true nature of source again. Like we're here, but we're sort of cut off. So as soon as you come out, lights are more brighter. They have more color to them. They're more vibrant. Things are more real. Like you said before in the beginning, you came out of your body and you're like, oh, this is too real. And then you pop back in because everything is more real than it could ever be here. Because you have more access to the true nature of all things again.
Yeah.
So,
It is 100% real. 100% real. When I said I stayed myself on that bedpost, I'm feeling all of the wood fibers and all of the knurls and everything that's on that wood post. Like it's more, you're more conscious of it. It's just more experiential somehow. Okay, where am I at with this? Yes. So there's the smoke alarm light, which was glowing green. There were 3 other lights that were glowing green down low, which I did not know what they were. I did not know what they were. When I woke up, they were not there. I'm going to get back to it, what they were in a minute. This is really, really wild. Anyway, then the next thing, okay. So the next thing was my door is like right beyond the smoke alarm where that is. So I was ready to like
same
start
experience,
going.
yes.
Yeah, I'm still in that OBE. And so then I basically sort of motioned myself to the door, and the door like was either open or I'm going through the door. Somehow what is like the frame of the door was like there was black, okay? And then something starts coming at me, like the only way I know how to explain this is they appeared like bowling balls. They're mostly black, but they seem to have something inside them. And they start rolling one right after the other at me and at me and at me. But somehow I'm like commanding them, like I'm influencing them, or there's something. And I don't know what they were, but I sort of got this impression like there was a quality like that they might have even had like a construct inside them, but they're just coming at me and at me and at me. But I'm so like I'm commanding them, and in fact, okay, this is where.
Okay, hold on. So rewind.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if these are the balls, what you said,
Yes.
constructs. Did
Yeah.
they did it seem like inside of there were all different forms of lights or multiple
Yes.
different form of lights?
But I'm mostly seeing black. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't, but yes, there was lighting in there. There was
Yeah.
in those bowling balls, you know.
Okay, because it sounds that if you could be more descriptive, it sounds similar to when I was showing all the construct I said stacked on God's shelves, and they were like that. They were like these constructs, and they were shown as many different the realms, different colors. Like you could see the source of light within it. There were just many of them, all stacked from the.
That's the impression I got.
Yeah, yeah.
I got the impression that this was a very real experience. Okay.
Mm.
I'm just going to put it that way. This is a very real experience. And so the other thing about it, okay, I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in Jesus Christ. Okay. But I used to be. And when I was, I spoke in tongues. And there is talk about light language. There's talk about some things that I don't even know if I agree with. Okay. Since it's been years now since I've disavowed that religion. But the act of speaking in tongues has happened to me even before this OBE training. Now that there has been times in my sleep states where I have been speaking in tongues, even after I renounced Christianity. I don't know if it's like a habitual thing. I don't know what, and do you know what I'm saying? I mean, if your listeners don't know what I'm saying about speaking in tongues, it's a religious thing that Pentecostal and charismatic Christians get into, which is like, there's no way to prove that it's a language, okay? But they act like you can. They act like it is a language or something. And I've done it. I have done it as a religious person, but I've also had this experience in my dreams. And as I was doing this, the one thing that I did not like about this OBE was that there was some sort of language happening out of my mouth, which I didn't like. And that was actually the first time I've ever spoke words that I didn't like the language, like in the context of this experience of quote unquote speaking in tongues. And so I used my intention, and I said, I want to speak in my own language. And it was like, as soon as I did that, I don't know how to explain it. It was just like there was some power taken over this event. I'm not trying to destroy anybody's impression of light language or speaking in tongues or anything. That's not my agenda with this explanation, but that's what happened to me. There was, for the first time ever in my life, I was speaking a language I didn't really like, but I changed that. And one of the things I wanted to say to you, first of all, thank you for actually giving material that's about taking your power back. We're in this whole zone of whatever it is, love and light, spirituality, et cetera, et cetera. All I hear all day long is we're all one, we're all the same, we're all just one, and it's bullshit. Okay. Everybody is a unique individual, and you're a unique individual when you're out of the body. It's really you. And your body may look differently, or you may have different features going on in the experience out of body. It doesn't change the fact that it's you.
Absolutely.
It's you. Yep. That's doing this, and you're not the same as another person, And I think this whole spiritual community has really been disserved by this teaching that we're all one. We are all working with one sort of playbook, one set of like Nikola Tesla would call it the ether, right? It's one stuff, but it's not. You're different, you're special. Everybody is their own special person. Anyway, I don't want to rant.
No, Ian, it's perfect, because it's sort of what I've tried to say in a jump. Well,
anyway,
away, but you're saying it as well. It's a completely disservice to people, because once you, like you, coming out, fully empowered now to access the things, you don't change. You are your soul is its individual soul. And that's it. It has its own, you could say, source in and of itself.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Anyway, so back to this OBE, because this gets interesting. So these ball-shaped objects, yes, they felt like constructs. This is a real experience that I had. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Somebody could say, well, you just watched this material, and so now you're looking for this stuff. And
Right.
okay, I have no way to disprove it. All I can tell you is this is really, like, I didn't go out wanting to, go see constructs on God's shelves or whatever. I don't, and I don't even use the term God, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah. Oh,
any deity, any entity, any nothing.
yeah.
You're God, I'm God. Everybody, like, we are
Yes.
God. That's actually, by the way, that's biblical.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a whole nother
Yeah.
subject.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the next, so I enforced my intention. I enforced it. I'm glad I wrote this down, because that's what it was. You have to do that in the OBE state. If something is going on that you're not, like, this isn't jiving with you, then you enforce your intention. If there's language coming out of your mouth that you don't like, fucking enforce your intention. It's you. So anyway, so the next memory, I'm back in the room, and then there's that light, out it's my there's a window behind my my headboard of my bed, and I have curtains over it and everything. So but it casts, like, the ambient light from outside. I'm in a suburb, there's a little bit of light, but when I'm in the OBE state, it's like I really notice that light. I don't know how to explain it. It's just really, I wish I could just think of the word. It just sort of, I don't want to say vibrate, because everybody says vibrate, but it's like, it just, there's something really special about it, about all lighting, actually, in the OBC state. Not, but that's where I noticed it. And I looked around and I saw like I said, the green light up high, and then these three green lights there. And I decided, okay, I just had this thing with the bowling ball stuff. I need to, like, verify that I'm really having an OBE. Like, even though, I said to myself, and I felt it's like you're going to question yourself within the OBE. So let me verify this. How do I need to do something that I can't do in normal life. So I was at the edge of the bedpost. I said, I'm going to do a front flip, So I did a front flip, like, towards my bed. Interesting that I didn't see myself. I didn't look for myself, but it was almost like, now that in the memory, it was like somehow I wasn't looking, like there was something preventing me from seeing where my body would have been in the bed as I looked in that direction. And so then I took a front flip, and I, like, went thud, right? Like it's just hit it, really heavily. And I was like, okay, yes, I'm in the out of body state, because ordinarily that would have maybe hurt. I don't know, it was just like, it was a thud, there's like, anyway. So I got that, and then that was the big thing. Then, okay, so I verified the OBE, and so I'm like, okay, I got back up. So then the next thing I said was, I said, I want my wife passed away in July. Her name was Brenda. So I said, I want to see Brenda. And then I had this, like, rush, like I was going to go out the door. Like, I did start going out the door, and it was like I went through doorway after doorway after doorway. And then all of a sudden I went wham, and it's like I hit my head on a rafter. I'm not feeling any pain, okay, but it's like I just knocked myself on my head with a rafter, somehow going really fast through a whole bunch of doorways. End of OB. I'm back in my body, and it was like, it's kind of frustrating.
So nothing with contact with her at all. You didn't get the contact,
No,
did you?
not this time, but there was this intention that I wanted to do that, and some things, and as soon as I was going through those doorways, man, clonk. I hit my head on some that's what I felt like anyway.
Do you think it, how many doors did you pass? If you could, do you think it was 12?
I don't know. I no, I don't have a count. I
Okay,
don't think it was
all
as
good.
many as
All
12.
good.
I don't think it was as many as 12, but
Okay.
I don't have a count.
No, it's just me trying to see if I can
Okay.
line something up. But all good. All good.
Okay. So anyway, so then that was it for OBE. Well, that was my third OBE since working with you, your training. And in between, I had a like lucid, I'm just gonna call it a lucid dream. There was something, it was very like it was an experience where you're in the experience and you're doing things and controlling things, and then you realize I can't remember a damn thing that just happened. It's
Yeah.
just out the door.
This is
I'm just
why.
thinking that was a
Yeah.
lucid dream
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
don't know what it was,
Yeah.
so because I didn't have complete consciousness, I didn't have memory.
No, no,
So,
no. This is
what was
why
it?
the lucid dreaming astral projection is it's like playing with children's toys in comparison to this, the true out of body
I
state.
mean, it's just I had nothing,
Yeah, yeah,
I
you
left
don't.
it, but anyway, and
Yeah.
I didn't believe during whatever that experience was that I was actually there in the out of body state. It was just that there was a lot of control stuff happening in it,
Mm.
which positive. I'm using that in a positive way. Okay, so OBE number 4 was
Mm.
a waist up, but it was out of body. I just lifted up from the waist, and I didn't come out of bed or anything. I just lifted up from the waist, and I was so again with that light. Oh, but I want to go back. I have to go back to this.
Okay.
So I talked about the 3 green lights that were down low,
Yeah.
that were not there when I woke up. Within probably about a week of that experience, I figured out what those lights were. Because a week later, those lights were in the exact position, all 3 of them. I had no idea what they were until I saw them in physical reality about a week later. And what they were was that I just purchased a new firearm, and it had it was part of the reason that I purchased the firearm was because it had a red dot holographic sight on it. In other words, that was part of the gun. Buying it was part of the gun was sold
Yeah, you got
that
it.
way.
Yeah.
All right. What I didn't know, or I didn't think about, was the fact that other than that thing, it also had night sights on it. And I wasn't conscious of that because all I was thinking about was the red dot sight that's on that firearm. I wasn't thinking about the night sights.
Which is
And
great.
when it's nighttime, they glow green. There's 3 of them, and they're in this exact pattern. I don't know if you can see it. It's
Yeah.
like
No, I
1,
got
2,
it.
3.
Fuck, man. Yeah, you're.
But I had
Yes.
not had my firearm there in the OBE.
No, this is.
I didn't have my firearm there until a week later.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the future I was seeing, Darius.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. You're tapping into this is why I said before, like some things that I say won't make sense unless you experience it. But once you come out of your body, you access thought forms, your own dimensional space, and potential futures. And so if you don't understand, some things don't necessarily make sense unless you clock it enough times through experience, and then you're like, okay, bam, 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 and you'll see when you come out, most of the time you'll be seeing potential future events accessing time, and those things do come pass because they're a high not all the time, because it's not always set in stone, but if it's very present there and it's very focused, like dense almost, then it's a higher probability of happening. And so accessing time is You proved it twice. You proved it with your first testimony and what you're saying right now. So you two
But
times.
this is
Yeah.
now within the
Yeah.
OBE conscious of this.
Yeah.
And I had another one. Oh man, this is so, but I wasn't even in the OBE yet. Sometimes I just get like an impression, and one of which was I was driving down a certain road at a certain time of day with the light in a certain way,
Mm.
and I was seeing a guardrail, and the weirdest this happened to me. I wasn't out of the body that night that I had this, but I the next day, like within 12 hours from actually getting that impression, I was driving down that road. And the funny thing is this, right before I was driving down that part of the road, I started thinking about that impression that I got from the night before. And then it was, I mean, it was like right in front of my eyes. Oh my God,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I was thinking of for
It's
some reason.
exciting. It's exciting when it happens. Like you're just like, what?
Holy shit,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
Anyway,
Yeah. But then
all right.
yeah, you're gonna keep on having fun with it. And then you're gonna yeah. Yeah.
It's so, but now this is the first time I've actually had that future premonition thing inside the OBE.
Hmm.
Like and 100% and verifiable. Like there's no like, okay, like the other things were just me telling you, oh, that's the impression I got, but this is like, no, that was actually there, if somebody was here with me, which there's nobody here, but
Yeah.
anyway, it's a physical thing, right? That's what I'm trying to get at. All right. Now, so I was going to go, this was a waist up
Could I say this
experience.
before you move into
Oh
the
yeah,
next one?
sure.
Once you see potential times, just always make sure you're always in a place of integrity. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. That is and that is such a beautiful thing to have said. Man, damn it, Darius, you're doing good shit. Okay. All right. Okay, where are we at? So this is the waist up. Okay, so this is really interesting. So in this to me was a very beautiful sort of experience. So I came waist up out of my body. At the foot of my bed is a mirror. And I think I might have talked about that in the other testimony thing. Which I haven't moved it, actually. It's still there. And so but anyway, so I came halfway up out of my body, and sort of had my arms. It's like you feel like your arms are sort of weightless, or they're in water. They're not in water, but it's like that. And I'm sort of manipulating something, and I'm controlling something, and there's like this green glowing thing going on in my abdomen, and I'm a man, so but it felt like I don't know how to explain it. It felt like there could, like, somehow this could be like how a woman who's pregnant could feel or something. It had this quality to it of something, and it just had that green glow. Another one of this out of body light kind of things going on
Within you.
Yeah, within me, right? Exactly, and in a sort of defined place too. It's not like, oh, my, the whole body was lit up. It was like there was like a defined region of my my core, let's say.
Yeah, the core, the
That had
spark. Yeah, the soul spark.
something, and so and I don't know why I asked this question. So the question I asked was, am I female? And the answer was yes. And then I had another question. I said, am I male? And the answer was yes. And so like I said, there was this thing that I was doing with my hands. I don't know what it was, but it felt like I was controlling something. It felt like something was being manipulated to in a productive way. And I also had an impression, I don't know if I saw myself, but I had an impression that reminded me kind of one of the illustrations you put up in one of your material of I think your experience with Celeste.
Yeah.
Celeste is the one that's both male and female. Yes.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. I just call her
Okay.
female, but she's, yeah,
You
I
call her
would say
female,
the
but anyway, but there's like the
perfect. Yeah.
perfect, both aspects.
Yes.
And so I had an impression of myself, which was not exactly like your illustration, but a lot like it. It's kind of like wasn't seeing ears, wasn't seeing necessarily eyes, mouth, maybe the point of a nose, and not really hair, but just sort of like being, right? But instead of that, there was like in your illustration, there was like a kind of like a black color. It looked like I don't know if you remember the illustration I'm talking about.
I know Celeste. Yeah, the Celeste, the silhouette. Yeah,
The
almost.
silhouette thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
my case, it was like a green color. It was like this color, except maybe a little bit less. And it had that same quality. I don't know how to explain it. It had that same quality as those bowling balls, which is like sort of luminous on the inside.
Mm.
I can't, when you're in it, you know what you're talking about, right? But when I'm here, it's like there's words coming out of my mouth that really don't make sense to, maybe
Yeah,
they
yeah,
do.
yeah. It's like the first time that I've when Celeste was showing me things, I was just like, I couldn't explain it, and then it's just like through multiple out of bodies. It's just you find a way to
Is that
articulate
what
it.
happens? You get more sort of
Yeah,
verbiage to deal
yeah,
with it because
yeah,
there's stuff that happens. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Like I know exactly what I'm doing,
mm.
while I'm out of body, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to write this down. What am I writing down?
Yeah,
What is
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
what the, what is
It,
what did I think I saw? That's
yeah,
what you do to yourself, right? You're okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway,
It
so
just
that
starts. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, I was just going to sort of wrap that OBE up. It was a very, I don't know how to explain it. It just felt very, very, very beautiful, very natural. It felt like there was something just very, very wonderful about it. Oh, I forgot to mention there was actually a beautiful language coming out of my mouth, and it wasn't just a language; it was just like a sentence, like a phrase or a sentence, and it kept repeating over and over and over again. And it was so particular that I thought I was going to be writing that down in my notes, but I lost that too.
Interesting, because
But it
there's
was
a
it was like one phrase, and it was a different language.
yeah. It's like you would know because you were in religion. The spoken word is very powerful, and there's an original language that using that frequency. So that's why they put spells on words and stuff to twist and distort things.
Wow.
Yeah.
That and that's confirmed, by the way. I had a friend of mine who's from India, and he said if you look at the roots of all the languages, they actually all come back to like one language, like everything, all however many languages there are on the planet.
Yeah.
Every single one of them will, they all have this common influence, and it all kind of comes back to one language. It does. I mean, that's what the researchers have figured out. So anyway, so I just wanted to mention that about the phrase, whatever the phrase was, couldn't remember it, but there was absolutely a phrase, not English, coming out of my mouth that I was repeating the same phrase over and over again. And I still was repeating. It's weird. I was still repeating it even as I woke up, like it was going through my mind as I was awake. So I thought I was writing this down, and then it was gone. It was really weird.
You can tap back into these places and get clarity on what it is, whether if it was a past life or see, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, like you could go back to the same places. That's how I was able to, first time seeing something. Once you're there, once you got the signature of it, like you could just go. It's just like remembering a feeling of someone that you have in your life. You could tune into their signature, and therefore you could tap into their field.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's encouraging, because these are these are not bad things, you know, these are things that I'd like to know more about.
Hmm.
So, wow, thank you for telling me that. Okay. So then I had, so this is OBE number 6. This is it. This is why, I, you know, asked to do another testimony with you, because this is the first time, I have had contact with someone other than myself, right? In OBE. And so this one, it started with, I had this effect. There were multiple flashes, like flash, flash, flash. And it happened, sort of happened to my left high, but they were very definite flashes, like flash, 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 flash. And then it was done. Right. And so I started that one. I was okay, again, foot of my bed, you know, mirror. I kept that firearm where it is because that's important to me, to kind of like, that's a locator, you know. So I found, you know, I found it, and I'm standing at the foot of my bed. It's like, okay, gun is here. And then I'm like sort of fumbling with the gun, or with the dresser. And I'm like feeling the hardware on the dresser. Like, this isn't stuff I think about, you know. I'm feeling like all of the particulars of the hardware on the dresser. Yeah, I'm in the OBE state, and it's 100% physical. There's no denying it, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a and so then I find this other thing next to the firearm, which is not there in physical reality. And it's a bottle, and I'm drinking this stuff it's coconut. It's like this, it's this coconut product, comes from Thailand. It's like $23 a bottle. You get it on Amazon. Anyway, so these bottles are white. So it's one of these white bottles, but there's this weird thing that's going on with it. It's got like not a hole. It's got like a jagged line in a ring in it. And that jagged line is like pulsating, like LED colors, like rainbow LED colors. And if I picked up this bottle, it's kind of weird, because it projects that LED thing wherever and it almost felt like there was some kind of a power to this, like it was doing, like it was a tool somehow. And it was projecting this, like I said, it's a ring of a jagged line, but it's in this LED color thing. By the way, so I just want to interject here. So I've checked out some of and I've left comments, by the way, on your comments, and I wanted to pick up on somebody asked, like, you know, how many joints had I smoked, or I don't use any drugs. I can't, for what I do for a living. There's like, and I have not, there's a bottle of wine in my cabinet that is not been opened. It's been sitting there for months and months. I don't drink alcohol on an ongoing basis. There's no, the only thing is, it would be the caffeine, right? That's it. Yeah. So I just wanted, for the record, zero, nothing hallucinogenic, no pot, no, you know, no weed, no anything. Okay.
Yeah. Those things shuts the natural ability of the out of body. It shuts it down, makes it dormant, makes it harder. So,
yeah. So this is not a hallucinogenic thing, and I'm not into hallucinating. You know, it's not like I'm like that kind of a person anyway. Okay, this is, if you know me, like, okay, I have a degree in mathematics, right? I'm kind of like a nuts and bolts kind of guy, and not. You might just be looking at these testimonies thinking, oh, this is one of those kind of people. Well, I'm not that kind of person. Okay, this is the experience I was having in the out of body state. Yeah. So, all right, enough of that.
Yeah. I brought up the all that stuff, like it's massive distortion, distraction. It's not, you don't experience, you experience things, but it's not the true. It's like, the best analogy is you drive in a car drunk. Basically, is you're seeing distorted things.
Well, it's not even, and there's no, it doesn't serve, like,
not
it
at all.
doesn't get you to the body state. You know, it's
Nope, not at all.
I don't need anything to get to where I'm going.
Yeah.
In the out of body state. So yeah, so like I said, this weird sort of jagged edge crack. Okay, so so I yeah, fumbled my way around, verified, but basically that was like verifying this is I'm really in the out of body state because I'm touching the physical parts of the dresser, you know, and it's like me, soul needed to know that. So that was and I remember thinking before that, so funny. Right before this happened, I was thinking, I really need to get rid of this mirror because it keeps on screwing up my ability to access the out of body state. I'm thinking this while I'm in the out of body state.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so funny. Because
Well,
you know,
your thought forms
it's
don't change.
reflecting life. I should get rid of this. I'm here. I'm in the out of body state, you know.
Yeah,
So me touching the dresser and everything was kind of like, you know, shutting down that argument that my mind is having with me in the out of body state. So anyway, because I was thinking things felt so real, I think I missed another one, right? All right, so then somehow, okay, so then the next thing that happened, and that's sort of, I don't think it ended that out of body, but it's just sort of morphed. Like the next thing that happened was I was rising again from my horizontal position in the bed. And as soon as I did, I just like, I had this sense like, oh, everything's on autopilot. I'm just rising up and then just floating. And I had this really, it's like the most amazing sense. I just felt like as though somebody were taking my two hands and just gently and calmly leading to where I was going to go next. And at that moment, I just knew there was zero need to be concerned about any fear of any kind. I was being guided, you know, and it felt like the presence of a female, but there was not, I couldn't say that I was looking at a female or I was looking at a female's hands in my hands, but it felt like that presence. And it felt like it could have been Brenda, my deceased wife, but I don't know that it was her because she's a lot more verbose. Like she is very, like her soul is, she's going to communicate it and she's going to make sure that you've heard everything exactly, you know, no confusion. In other words, she is not into confusion. She is not into, you know, games at all. That's Brenda is 100% straightforward. So I don't know that it was her, but it had a female energy, you know, it had that. And it was so calming. It was so calming. And it was such, it was so wonderful to have just no need to have fear at all. You know, like there was just nothing that could make me afraid. It was just 100% gentle and guiding. And so I ended up going through my door again, and I ended up on like this gravel road that was somehow elevated sort of above, like as though we're on a hill itself, and just kind of I'm walking down and everything is vivid, like it's that low light again. It's that same, I don't explain it. It's that out of body light. It's that intense. It just makes you, I don't know. It just makes you feel some kind of something. I don't want to say energy. It's overused.
Like home.
But it feels like that. It feels like freedom.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to say it. It feels like freedom, and it's and creative. Like there's creativity. You know, that's another aspect of the light. The light, and it's not just like blinding. I'm not talking about blinding light. I'm talking about like this low light, like this dusk light, like, but it has no source. It's just there. It's light that's just there. That's the best way to say it. It's light that's just there. And so anyway, so I'm walking down this road and I come upon someone and I instantly know the name of this person. I've never seen this person before in my life. Don't know anything about it. It's female. And she's dressed like professionally dressed, and her name is Mary Lou. And so, but I instantly am aware that I know this person's name. And somehow I assist this person. I don't remember what the assistance was. I don't remember if she had fallen down or, something like that. But I come to this person. I said, and I wrote this. How did I write? How did I say it? Yeah, I did. And the door, by the way, was black. Whenever I'm going through that door, it's black. It's not like the blackness I talked about in my first testimony with you. It's not like that, that like take your breath away black, but it's black. And so anyway, yeah, so I came upon Mary Lou. So I said, and just, I just physical description of this woman. She's like tall, maybe even taller than me. She had like dark hair. She was attractive, dressed professionally, but nicely, Anyway, so I said, Mary Lou. And I said, that's your name, right? Mary Lou. And she gives me this look like, yeah, why are you saying that? And I said, but she affirmed basically that, yep, that was her name. And then I said, I don't know anything about it. And since she kind of just keeps on walking, like enough of that encounter. And I was just like, I was happy about the fact that I got this person's name through ESP, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So that was
telepathy into it.
Right. Yeah. And so it's like, okay. So anyway, I kept walking down this gravel road. And I mentioned that sort of LED effect or whatever it is, rainbow LED affected thing that I had in my hand. I don't know if I had that with me or not, but what I came upon next was sort of, it's another one of these weird things. It had like, it reminded me of, the Carvana, where you are. I don't know if they have it. So do they have Carvana where you're at? I don't know. Anyway, they call them car vending machines. Okay. And they're, it's as though they're made out of glass. They have all these levels and there's cars in there. Okay.
Okay.
And
yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. But just imagine that, except it's just all glass and there's no cars in there. There's no floors or anything in there. But inside are like these lights, like holographically projecting in the middle of space. And there's sort of like many of them being projected. And again, the light, the colors are similar to that jagged line of that coconut bottle thing that I was telling you about. Okay, it's like a rainbow colored effect, but they're being projected holographically in space within this column of, like, I guess it's glass. So I walk up to this thing. I guess I walked into it. I don't know how it was, but there's like 4 men and they're at the ground floor of this thing and they're all kind of seated across from each other. And none of them really acknowledged me, but I was able to like really see each one of these individuals in detail. And I just like knew what they were saying. I knew why they were saying it. I knew their problems. I knew their strengths. It was like there's all this information, and I'd never seen any of these people before in my life. So it was like, why do I have any of that information?
Do you remember?
And
do you remember what I said? Everybody's naked on the other side.
Okay. Yeah.
Is because
Yeah,
there's no hiding.
right. So there was no hiding in
Yeah.
any, like, one of them. Well, this would have been physically obvious, but it's obviously some trouble with his weight.
Mm.
But there's other, each one of these four, but they were all gathered sort of like and so it became evident that what they were doing is somehow playing some kind of a game, like this glass column with these holographic lights, whatever they were doing, it was like some kind of a game. And there may have been more to this OBE that I can't even remember, but
Okay.
ultimately
Okay.
that's pretty much where it ended. It was it was one of the most vivid. But I think the thing about this OBE and the reason, well, it was the first contact was the reason for this testimony, but also what I just really wanted to share was how much I was just really touched by whatever this force or energy was that felt like it was feminine. It felt like it was taking both of my hands, because my hands were somehow in the position to have been taken by, somebody's hands like that.
Mm.
And it was just it was so calming. It was so gentle. There was no force to it. And I think this is something that people who are working on getting to the OBE state, or working on maybe, getting to more access and so forth, I think we can get ourselves into a place where we're trying to force things. We're trying to, okay, I'm setting my intention. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna see the pyramids. I'm gonna do, whatever it is that you decide you're gonna do. But there, like, there's also just allowing, just letting, like, if, and I would say use your intention to invite whatever presence or whatever force that is compatible with your being to lead you, or you don't have to even use the word lead, but just to, bring you
Mm.
where it is that you soul are intending to go. So
Yeah,
those are the things I wanted to say.
that's perfect advice, because that's sort of what has happened to me majority of the time, anyways. So I've been led places. So
So you do get led, yeah, okay,
mm,
because that's that's I love it that way.
yeah,
I love it when it's just there's just no rush, there's no like stampede, there's no push, it's just we can go check this out, whatever it is that's on the other side of that door. And
yeah,
I don't, whatever, by the way, that whole gravel road, I don't know why it was sort of not, it wasn't, didn't mean a lot to me. Okay. That, what came after didn't mean a lot. What meant the most to me was that floating up, and okay, I'm on autopilot. Everything's, it's under control. I'm being, I'm being guided, and this is so gentle.
mm,
So that's what, so anyway, but it was the first contact OBE. I'd be delighted to share if I get more contact, and down the road, maybe a few more, months or whatever. But anyway,
yeah,
I'm I'm really excited. This is it and good things are happening in my physical life too. I won't talk about it, but it's like this is this is like this is really. Oh, and maybe you want to hear how I found out about you on another call or whatever. I think we're probably up on time now, but
yeah.
anyway,
It's all good. Yeah, finish what you're saying. It's all good, man. Yeah.
okay. Well, anyway, the way I found out about you was actually through my wife, Brenda. So
Mm.
before she passed, um, she came to your material, and I have no idea how she got it, but it was the one about the simulation you're doing with
Yeah, yeah,
what did
yeah, yeah, yeah. Jeff Mom. Yeah,
Jeff? Yeah,
yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
you're yeah. So she's like, um, here's a video you might want to check out and see what you think of it. And as soon as I watched that video, I like watched everything else that I could from that you would put up for free. And I was like, okay, I got to find out about this. But when she did, that was really about a month before she passed. And so there was just a whole bunch of stuff going on. So I didn't until later in the year 2023. I hired well, actually it was her Akashic reader. I hired her Akashic reader, and I know the word. I don't even like the word Akashic reader. Okay, but records. Okay, let me just say that records and guides and etc. Okay, so and I love her. She's amazing. She's incredible. So she said that in my when she pulled up me that I had a Dream Master thing came up, and I thought, okay, well, that's interesting, because I've never gotten into this lucid dream stuff. I've never none of that ever clicked with me. It's just not on the radar screen. Not interested. And but she's getting this Dream Master, and she says, so I think it would be really good if you would check out things like astral projection. And I was like, I don't want to do that because I had heard your free material. And I said, well, I'd be more interested in this, the out of body state. And after I had my reading, then I guess I watched a couple more of your free material, and then finally bought it. And I guess in the last testimony I talked about it. And some people have been asking, what do I do to get to the OBE? And I can tell they haven't bought the material. Buy the material, do like this is also about your intention. So if you intend to be out of body, then doing something like making an action to get the information that you need to for that to happen is part of getting to the out of body experience. So, it's something people might want to try and put that together, because we're so disempowered as a rule, right? That we don't get it. That in order to, we can say something with our mouth for an intention, but it needs to have an action. It needs to have a thing done, and if there's another person on the other side of that cements that intention, and it turns into, creation. So use that. If somebody's watching this is going to be free material, use that by purchasing with your dollars the material and watch it and figure out what it's, just work with it and take your time. It doesn't, for me, it happened very quickly, but for others, it takes some time, and that's 100% fine. You'll get there. It was so beautiful. Somebody's testimony, they said, I just figured I'd just keep showing up. I just keep showing up, and eventually it would happen.
Yeah.
Was that Stefan?
No,
Stefano?
it was either Stefano or David.
Yeah, one of those two said that, and I was like, that's it. If it takes a year, just keep showing up. And I know it's tough for people, but just keep showing up. I thought that was such a good thing to say. Such a wonderful thing for people to hear. Body shutdown is come easier and easier and easier. It's really shut down my body, especially with the breathing.
It works.
Breathing,
it's good.
It works.
Yeah.
It works. So anyway.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. And if you have any more, then reach out, man. If you feel comfortable sharing it. So yeah.
Oh man, by all means. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You bet.
All right.
All right. I will see you. Take care.
See you.